Hello and welcome. You're watching WION World is One. My name is Him Saroya. Thank you so much for staying with us. Here's a look at what we've lined up for you on Speed News today. US President Donald Trump has signed an executive order ending US sanctions on Syria. The White House says that the move was aimed at helping Syria rebuild after the deadly civil war and promote the country's path to stability and peace. Trump's order comes following his promise in May when he told Syria's interim leader Ahmad al-Sharaa during a meeting in Saudi Arabia that he would lift sanctions and consider restoring diplomatic ties, signaling a major shift in US policy towards Syria. Meanwhile, Syria's foreign minister Asad al-Shibani has welcomed lifting of sanctions by the United States, saying it would open the door to long-awaited reconstruction and development. Israel has stepped up its offensive in Gaza. A large blast was seen over the strip overnight as Gaza's civil defense agency said Israeli forces killed at least 74 people on Monday. According to reports, airstrikes at a seaside cafe left 30 dead, while 23 were killed in a gunfire as Palestinians tried to get the desperately needed food aid. As Israel faces backlash over the humanitarian situation in Gaza, Israel's UN ambassador Danny Danon claimed the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF, which has distributed more than 46 million meals in the enclave, and went on to accuse the UN of putting politics over humanitarian work by impeding the initiative. Now, Danon also added the war in Gaza would not end until the 50 Israeli hostages held by Hamas are released. Violent protests broke out in Istanbul's popular Istiklal Street after satirical magazine allegedly published a cartoon of Prophet Muhammad and Prophet Moses, while missiles flew below in the scene resembling war. Police used rubber bullets and tear gas to disperse the angry mob. The cartoon drew strong condemnation from the government and officials and religious conservatives. Turkish authorities have detained the two cartoonists and the editor of the magazine over the drawing. The incident has sparked a heated debate about free speech and religious sensitivity in Turkey, with some defending the magazine's right to satire and others condemning the cartoon as blasphemous. Images released by North Korean state media show President Kim Jong-un honoring the flag-draped coffins of North Korean soldiers killed, helping Russia fight Ukraine. The footage of a visibly emotional Kim with the fallen soldiers appeared in the background of video that was released by official Korean Central News Agency of a performance in Pyongyang attended by a Russian culture minister, Olga Lyubimova. The event was to mark the one-year anniversary of a military pact signed by the two countries, which includes a mutual defense clause as well. The Russian Ministry of Defense said that its troops attacked the Ukrainian Navy's fuel supply facilities, production, assembly and storage sites for attacked drones and ammunition depots in the past 24 hours. The ministry said that the Russian air defense system also shot down 144 Ukrainian drones. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that a large group of Russian troops were amassing in the Pokrovsk direction and the region had witnessed multiple attacks, with fierce fighting still raging on. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine said on the same day that the Ukrainian army had continued to conduct defensive operations in eastern Ukraine and successfully repelled multiple Russian assaults on the border of Sumy Oblast in northeastern Ukraine. Hong Kong celebrated its 28th anniversary to hand over to China with a flag-raising ceremony. The event was attended by Chief Executive John Lee Cascio and other officials. A helicopter formation flew over Victoria Harbour carrying giant national and regional flags, while fireboats sprayed water jets in salute. The ceremony was followed by a celebratory reception at the Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Centre.
Cheers.
The criminal court in Bangkok began the first hearing in a limoges case against former Prime Minister Shinawatra. Thaksin Shinawatra's lawyer and his brother-in-law, former Prime Minister Somchai Wongsawat, were seen arriving at the court. While Thaksin himself was not seen entering the court, his vehicle was later spotted in the parking lot. The case against Thaksin stems from a 2015 media interview he gave while in self-imposed exile, from which he returned in 2023 to serve a prison sentence for conflicts of interest and abuse of power. The trial comes as political heavyweight Thaksin also faces a Supreme Court ruling this month that could overturn his parole, which was granted in February last year after a 6-month hospital stay. Brian Koberger, who was accused of the 2022 killings of 4 Idaho College students, has agreed to plead guilty to all counts, a move that would spare him from the death penalty. According to reports, he previously pleaded not guilty on charges of murder and the fatal stabbings, will be sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences and has waived off all right to appeal. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has accused WhatsApp of being a spying system and announced that he has deleted the app from his life. Maduro claims WhatsApp is used for espionage and has been involved in violent acts, including targeting Palestinians and Iranian scientists. He is now promoting a Venezuelan alternative to WhatsApp, aiming to reduce dependence on foreign technology. Paraguay has taken a significant step in modernizing its defense capabilities with the acquisition of 6 Embraer A-29 Super Tucano aircraft, with 4 units already delivered. The delivery ceremony was attended by Paraguayan President Santiago Pena and Vice President Pedro Aliana at the Silvio Petrosi Air Force Base. The Super Tucano aircraft will be used to combat organized crime, drug trafficking and transnational crimes, enhancing airspace security and intercepting unauthorized flights. Venezuela has accused the United States of kidnapping 18 Venezuelan children who were separated from their parents during deportation processes carried out by Washington to expel migrants from the country. President of the Venezuelan parliament said that children aged 1 to 12 were kidnapped and demanded their immediate return. He asserted that the children and their parents have committed no crimes, making the separation unjust. Despite a diplomatic break between Venezuela and the US in 2019, the Trump administration reached an agreement with Nicolas Maduro government to deport hundreds of Venezuelans back to their country. And during these deportations, some children were separated from their parents. A mayor of a village in Mexico's Oaxaca state married a caiman, a type of alligator, which is an age-old ritual that locals say represents the unity of humans and nature and brings prosperity to the community. The mayor said that the marriage signifies the union of 2 cultures and was happy the event was taking place. Brazil's National Museum in Rio de Janeiro is set to reopen its doors to visitors on Wednesday after a devastating fire destroyed it in 2018. Ahead of its reopening, it offered a peek of its renovated building and collection to officials and members of the press. From July 2nd to the 31st of August, visitors will be able to explore 3 restored areas inside the palace, the heart of the National Museum, which is still under reconstruction. The temporary reopening will allow the public to witness the restoration efforts up close, revisit the iconic meteorite and admire one of the museum's latest additions, which is a 15.7-meter long sperm whale skeleton now suspended under the building's new skylight. A roll cloud was spotted along Portugal's northern and central coast over the weekend. This impressive cloud formation, shaped like a tube or roll, appeared as a huge wave of cloud coming from the ocean, leaving many beachgoers amazed and some panicked due to its intimidating appearance. The Portuguese Weather Service confirmed the roll cloud occurrence on Monday with a satellite image and additional information. It said that the formation began in the afternoon and approached the mainland Portugal from the west in the evening. Torrential rain swept parts of southwest China's Sichuan province, starting and prompting the evacuation of 72,866 residents. The Bajong city, which many shops were flooded in the local economic development zone, where rainstorms also swept steel protection plates off some of the residential buildings. Firefighters used pumps to drain the flood water from the shops. They cleared the damaged steel protection plates away as well. Wildfires broke out in the southwestern department, where temperatures topped 40 degrees Celsius, burning 400 hectares, forcing some evacuations. Video captured in the town of Narbonne showed vehicles driving along a highway as smoke and flames caused by wildfire rose on either side. The fires in southern France were under control but not yet extinguished, authorities said on Monday. The US dollar languished at its weakest against the euro since September 2021. Trump's spending bill stoked fiscal worries, while uncertainty around trade deals remained a drag on sentiment. Investors have also started wagering on a quicker pace of monetary policy easing by the Federal Reserve this year. That spurred dollar selling, leaving the euro perched at a near 4-year high. The dollar index, which measures the US currency against 6 others, slipped to its lowest since February 2022. Oil prices edged down, weighed by expectations of an OPEC Plus output hike in August and concerns of an economic slowdown driven by prospects of higher US tariffs. 4 OPEC Plus sources told Reuters last week that the group plans to raise output by 411,000 barrels per day in August. If approved, this would bring OPEC's total supply increase for the year to 1.78 million barrels per day. That's equivalent to more than 1.5% of the global oil demand. Uncertainty about US tariffs and their impact on global growth also kept a lid on oil prices. South Korea's exports rebounded in June, driven by strong tech demand, though shipments to the United States and China remained weak, as Seoul warned the economic risks will persist through the remainder of 2025 due to uncertainty over US tariffs. South Korea will seek an extension to the 90-day pause in tariffs that is set to expire next week. Experts say negotiations are likely to continue past the deadline set between Seoul and Washington. Exports of semiconductors extended gains for a fourth straight month by rising 11.6% in June, but it was the slowest in the streak. Automobiles rose 2.3% as robust electronic vehicle demand in Europe offset losses in US sales. Confidence among large Japanese manufacturers improved in the 3 months to June as firms maintained their bullish long-term spending plans. Experts say manufacturers are unfazed by the immediate hit from the steep US tariffs. The Q2 survey showed that the economy is holding up well despite trade tensions. However, manufacturers slashed their profit estimates and expect business conditions to worsen 3 months ahead. Sentiment among big non-manufacturers worsened slightly as some companies worried about rising labor costs, the impact of higher prices on domestic consumption, and softening demand for luxury goods among overseas tourists.